Tyler, I
Yes.
know this is a time-honored tradition in your household, but this Sunday you got to send your first "Boy, these Cowboys funny as hell" text. How much did you enjoy the Saints going up 300-0 in the first half on the
It was
Cowboys?
it was glorious. They got the shit beat out of them. And the funny shit is, it's such a shift from last week where I like I said, I never saw the nation rally around the Cowboys until they were playing Nasty Man in Cleveland. Like everyone wanted the Cowboys to win that game and beat the fuck out of Mr. Nasty Man there. And then once they got through that, it's like back to business. Now we're rooting for the demise of the Cowboys, and just to see them get their ass just beat by the fucking Saints. Like it was just never a contest. And yeah, man. And I threw that shit out. And the whole thing is, I'm not necessarily a Washington fan, but all the people who know I'm talking shit about their Cowboys know that was my squad at sometimes. So there's always a part of me like, okay, I really want to talk shit about the Cowboys, but Washington got to show up so they can't come back with, yeah, but Washington, blah, 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 blah. Bro, Washington won a game putting up 21 points. No, there were no touchdowns scored.
Right.
That sounds like a 3 touchdown game. No, brother, that was a 7 field goal game.
It was 3 times 7.
Yeah, it was
Sound like
three
a
times
dookie ball
seven.
to me.
Times 3.
Sound like a dookie ball.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, bro. And so I was like, okay, well, we got that. Washington got the win. Washington won a game off 7 field goals, and they were still less funny than the ass that the Cowboys took. So I had that armor up, like yeah, we pulled some bullshit, but we ain't lose, and y'all got y'all ass beat. So yeah, it just I feel like that's such a time honored tradition when it comes to NFL Sunday. It's just hitting the Cowboys homies up in my phone whenever the Cowboys do some whenever they get their ass beat or do some silly shit, which is something they do every fucking other week just about. And it just felt like, okay, we're officially here. The season has officially started right now.
That's your first hit.
It's like one of those playoff series hasn't started until the road team wins. Like the NFL season hasn't started until the Cowboys have a
Right.
stupid
Yes.
It's
loss.
like an old football cliche too. Like you got to get hit. Like you're not in the game until you get a little. Like you get the heart going. That's
Right,
Tyler
right,
with the
right.
Cowboys embarrassing themselves on television. You
Yes,
see,
right,
someone
right.
tweeted that a Cowboys fan who was at the game. I thought it was in New Orleans, right? I
No,
didn't
no,
actually watch
no.
the game. I was in
It was in
Dallas.
They
Dallas.
got
Okay,
their
well,
ass
a
beat in
Cowboys
Dallas.
fan just airdrops to everyone within airdrop distance of his phone. If we don't fire Mike McCarthy by the end of the half, I'm whooping everyone in the stadium's ass.
See that was a masterful ploy there, because no one is going to fight to defend the honor of Mike McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? Even though you threatened everybody, like, yeah, I'll beat the fuck out y'all. For Mike McCarthy, I'm not going to fight you over him. I want
Yeah.
like they want that motherfucker going too.
Right. Yeah. No one's sticking up for grown up Eric Cartman. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, hey, he did good in Green Bay. That's my coach. Yeah. Fuck that. All right. We watched Sunday Night Football. We're coming on right after that. I felt like I was one of the preeminent Caleb Williams agenda people. And boy, that was a rough game. He was getting fucking smacked
Mhm.
around. And I felt like he was going into a pretty good situation in Chicago where they actually spent on some receivers. They put people around him. But Jackson, I know you're a huge USC fan and a big Caleb Williams fan. Are you feeling
Yes.
disheartened? And then Tyler, I want to hear what you think about Caleb Williams' start as well.
Yeah, I mean it was a pretty rough day. I think the offensive line deserved that. That's a large reason. He certainly did not have any time. And I think that it looked like one of those things where even when he did have time, he felt like there was going to be no
Hard to get
time,
into a rhythm
which
when
is
you're getting
not,
smacked in the face.
it's hard to get into a
Yeah.
rhythm. It's also like not the place you want to be in your second game. That's something like stories you heard about like David Carr, the out the Texans like years back, like he was like seeing ghosts at the end of his first season and he was like ruined
Yeah.
because of that. But like that took a whole season where he like broke the record for sacks taken or something, right? Caleb Williams in his second game and he's seeing ghosts out there. It felt like he wasn't even attempting passes beyond 5 yards downfield until like the fourth quarter when they sort of
Yeah.
had to. It was pretty ugly. And I think he'll be fine. Like I'm not like worried about him from a career standpoint, but I think between Caleb and like Joe Burrow kind of always hurt, always running for his life versus the Chargers this year, like having a really good start to the season. And the Chargers drafted an offensive lineman with their top 5 pick. People thought they should have taken a receiver. The Bengals took Jamar Chase years ago, who's great, instead of an offensive lineman. The Bears didn't took a top 10 pick as a receiver instead of an offensive lineman. It's like we're kind of seeing a little bit that like, oh right, the line play and the trenches like actually still is like very, 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 very important. That you can't just three superstar receivers your way into a
Yeah.
great offense with a rookie quarterback, unless without an offensive
Tyler, are
line.
you more optimistic, or are you a little bit? I know all of us were excited about, like, there's nothing more fun than like a potential superstar rookie quarterback. So I don't know. How do you feel about how Caleb started so far?
Yeah, I think that and it's just such a perfect contrast from him going up against CJ Stroud here, who was just a phenom in his second year. You
Yes.
know what I mean? I think there's something to be said here about folks of a certain age like us who remember when quarterbacks didn't automatically get it when they came to the league.
Right.
Like I feel like 2012 was kind of the shift where it was like, you guys got to come in from game one and be superstars, where we had RG3, Russell Wilson, and Cap, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that before. Like Peyton Manning had like a fucking 28 interception rookie year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he went on to be one of the greatest to ever do this shit. Like I remember where the whole where new quarterbacks are usually on like a 3-year plan, where it was like, okay, first year you're going to take your lumps, second
Right.
year you're going to utilize what you've learned by taking your lumps, third year it's when it all comes together, when you've mastered that shit.
Yeah.
And now no one is on a 3-year leash anymore with QBs. Like Bryce Young is in fucking game 18 of his career, and people want that dude gone. And he might not be a good example here because he really just might not be it. But you know, there was, like I said, I think that time that the game has progressed in such a way where people expect, you know, rookies with high expectations to come in and kill shit off top. And I'm just of the belief that, you know, I think we got to give some guys a longer string. You know what I'm, you know what I'm saying? A longer leash.
I think I'm glad you brought up Peyton Manning, because I feel like that's actually the comp, you know, to me for Caleb Williams. Like, it's just, he's trying to change. Like, he's trying to be the first good quarterback of the Chicago Bears in like 40 years, right? Like, he's trying to be at like a higher than a Jay Cutler. Like, he's trying to like be a dude who's in the running, like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen, where it's like every year they're a Super Bowl contender. And you know, what you saw today actually kind of reminded me of Peyton, where it is different for quarterbacks now. It's much more cerebral in terms of the control that they have at the line of scrimmage. And, you know, what you saw, I think he was like 80 something percent when not blitzed. And then when blitzed was like, you know, a negative quarterback rating or something. And I just think that's being a rookie in the NFL, right? Like if you're an elite quarterback in college, you have got generally a good offensive line around you. And so I think that's just what he has to adjust to. But it was the same for Peyton Manning. You know, he did throw, like you said, 20 something interceptions his rookie season. So I'm still optimistic, but I was hoping to look forward to watching Bears games this year, and I cannot say that at this moment in time, I feel that way. So
yeah,
it's also tough in the national TV game going against CJ
well,
Stroud.
and D'Amico Ryan too. I mean,
problem.
they blitzed him. You know, like a coach that's smart enough to realize, oh, he's not really picking up the blitz well. Let's triple the amount of blitzes we normally run. You know what I mean?
For sure. But like CJ Stroud, like broke all these rookie records or whatever. It's like everyone's looking for Caleb Williams to have people. There were lots of people in the preseason who were like, Caleb Williams is going to break CJ Stroud's records that he set last season. And now he has to play him in a second game, and he goes against a very smart defensive-minded head coach. In addition to that,
I'm gonna tell you something that was concerning for me is that when it was a 9-point game and we got 2 drives out of Caleb, and the first drive it was just, you know, bullshit underneath dump balls, and I was like, okay, maybe they're playing it safe, playing for the field goal on this drive, right? 9-point game, 2-possession game. Then the second drive, it was the same bullshit underneath dump balls. So like, this coaching staff might not trust Caleb right now. And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, like we're 2 games deep. You know what I mean? I'm not, this is not an indictment like he doesn't have the goods or whatever. But it's just like I said, it's just been the path of progress for new quarterbacks has just been like expedited in the last few years. And when you see a guy like Caleb, who has just been one of the guys who's just been one of the best quarterback prospects in years, just struggling his first 2 games, it feels like an eternity because of the way that shit has progressed there.
He had on that second drive though, he took a chopper to like a blindside chopper to the face. Like
that
linebacker
linebacker leaped off his feet.
You're not even allowed to hit quarterbacks like that anymore. But he hit him so clean, the refs were like, "We can't extend the drive over this." Like because he should have seen him. He was running directly at his face. Yeah, I think you mentioned though that the way that timeline is expedited. I think what it comes down to is this: the quarterbacks now make such a high percentage of the salary cap that you really have to become competitive within that rookie deal, right? Like this is what the Niners have with Brock Purdy. You see this with a lot of guys, because once you start giving the quarterback that $150 to $250 million deal, well, now you don't get as many toys, you don't get as much protection, or you just have to say we're gonna have a good offense, but we have jack shit on defense. And so, if guys can come in and be ready to go, that's the surest way to compete, And so that's why I think you kind of rush it. But I think the coaches were right to try and protect him a little bit, because if he's looking downfield, he showed today he does not have the pocket awareness to protect himself, just on a basic level. So, okay, we need a January 6th check-in on the New York Giants, who Chelsea said on the last episode that the fans should be fully storming the corporate offices. The Giants today became the first NFL hit team in history to score 3 touchdowns, allow no touchdowns, and lose in regulation.
It's an insane.
It's an insane stat.
7 field goals, dog.
Oh, that's y'all there's playing
That's
y'all.
a 7 field goal
The
game.
Commanders have 7
That's
field
a
goals, and I
7
think the
field goal
Giants
game.
missed an extra point until they had to go for 2 for one of their other touchdowns and didn't get it. So that's how they ended up with 19.
Special stuff. I don't have any further comment on that. I just like Chelsea pointed that out on their show and on our show. I thought that was like the
Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your bet today. I'm not really a Commanders fan, but they got the Giants and Bengals the next couple of weeks, so I am excited to see how Jaden Daniels handles those tests. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets instantly and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium.
TD, Tutty, take it to the house, in for 6, whatever you call a touchdown. One thing's for sure, touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, from the special teams or defense, we don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins, Jenkins, for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.